I'm Scott Dixon.
It's Christopher Bell.
I'm Jimmy Johnson.
I'm IndyCar driver Graham Rahal.
Hey, I'm Joey Logano, and you're listening to Checkered's Wind Tunnel.
You're entering the Wind Tunnel with Checkered. No spin, no bull, all jack. Wind Tunnel is brought to you by
Advance Auto Parts, the official auto parts retailer of NASCAR. Hey everyone, I want to welcome you back to the Wind Tunnel. We have a great show for you this week. It includes a visit with IndyCar's Graham Rahal, NASCAR Cup star Joey Logano, and new Smyrna Speedway regular Brad May. But I wanted to start the show talking about the disturbing news that broke since we were last together. Longtime ESPN and ABC Motorsports anchor Bob Jenkins told us last week that he was throttling down on his announcing work to devote all of his time and energy to his fight with a brain tumor. The news rocked the racing community. You see, for more than 3 decades, Bob Jenkins was the leading voice of motorsports. From Thursday Night Thunder, where he introduced us to a kid named Jeff Gordon, to NASCAR, where he simply brought out the very best of his cohorts, Benny Parsons and Ned Jarrett, all the way to IndyCar, where his word pictures accompanied drivers when they conquered the Indianapolis 500. Never one to grandstand or push some catchphrase, Bob's work is the gold standard for broadcasting. It was always about what he was covering. It was always how he could set the table for his analysts to shine. And he did it with humility and humor. I had the privilege of working with Bob for many, many years, and not once did I ever see him lose his temper or be without a smile and a kind word, something that I certainly cannot lay claim to. He's in the fight of his life right now, and we can help by offering up our prayers and positivity. Bob Jenkins has given much to us. It's the very least that we can do.
With Advance Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts in stock, and you can get them fast. Order online with Advance Same Day and get your part with same-day pickup in-store, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details. No spin, no bull, all jack. The Wind Tunnel with Checkered.
We'll be visiting with super late model driver Brad May in a moment, but first, it's time to bring you up to speed with our weekly news and notes. 1 week after Michael McDowell was the upset winner in the running of the Daytona 500, NASCAR's top 3 divisions were back at the birthplace of speed, but they were on the track's twisting road course. First up was the Camping World Truck Series, and Ben Rhodes survived 3 overtimes, scoring his second Daytona win, this time on the road course.
Oh man, this feels amazing. So I gotta say too, we had some fans out today, but I can't wait until we get all the fans back to the racetrack again. I looked like a huge tool when I tried to ghost drive the whip on the front stretch and then ended up in the grass at a dead stop and screaming to absolutely nobody in the stands. So can't wait for the fans to get back. So happy to get Toyota the 200th win. Like, that means so much to me, considering that I got my first win in Toyota, and you know, we parted ways, we came back again, it comes full circle, and we're able to win right off the bat.
Then the stars of the Xfinity Series took to the 3.61 mile track, and at the end of their race, the grandson of Coach Joe Gibbs, 18-year-old Ty Gibbs, scored a convincing win. It was his very first Xfinity start.
I don't even know how I got to a position where I could win the race, and I was already excited at that point. So, you know, it was definitely something to work for, and going through the grass, I don't know how I kept going. I thought I ripped the nose off of it, so that was lucky. You know, I just can't thank the man above for everything, and he put me in this position, so that's the most important part.
It was then time for NASCAR's Cup Series in their 253-mile outing. Joey Logano seemed on his way to the win, but Christopher Bell refused to give up and closed on Logano, coming to the white flag.
Christopher Bell is there. What's Joey going to do down here in this chicane?
Oh, man, I think he's got him.
No, not so. Does. Logano doesn't have the brakes to hold off Bell. Christopher Bell, who comes out of the final chicane, and in his 38th start,
Good job.
Christopher Bell scores his first career win, and it comes on the Daytona Road Course.
Oh my God. Thank you guys. Great job, Adam. Great job, Pickering. Holy smoke.
The last lap was pretty, I don't know, pretty surreal. All race long, I just kind of felt like I was trying to do my best job at not screwing up and hit my marks and not overdriving the corners. And then whenever I got by the 22 coming to the white flag, I knew that I was faster than him. I ran him down from a while back. So all I had to do was just get a couple good corners and get away. The last thing I wanted was coming down to the checkered flag with him on your bumper. And then you have to make a decision if you try and protect or if you just try and race the racetrack. So I was really thankful that I was able to get away there through the infield section because I felt like that was my better part. And then the chicanes were my struggle points. So I definitely didn't want him on my bumper going through the chicanes.
It was Bell's first career Cup victory. In the NTT IndyCar Series, well, they're still idle, but they did test last week at Laguna Seca. But the big news was that NASCAR's Dale Earnhardt Jr. was joining the ownership group that will host the IndyCar Series event in Nashville, Tennessee later this season. Earnhardt, by the way, joins Justin Timberlake on the Nashville ownership group. And that's this week's News and Notes.
I'm Kyle Rickey from MRN Radio, the voice of NASCAR. They are the foundation of American motorsports, the launching pad for racing's future. Time now for the Advanced Auto Parts Victory Lap, brought to you by the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series, driving local racing and local communities forward.
This week, our Victory Lap guest is a guy who has been turning left for more than 25 years, and at the age of 43 is still at it. And he joins us now, Brad May. Hey, Brad, thanks so much for joining us inside the wind tunnel.
Glad to be here.
There's an old adage that age and treachery wins out over youth and enthusiasm about 90% of the time. You celebrated your 43rd birthday, and you're still going after it each and every week at the new Smyrna Speedway against some pretty stout competition that's not even half your age.
Yeah, much less, probably a third of my age on some of the guys. I still love it. I still love getting out there. I'm still have the itch to try to win. So as long as I've got that, I want to stay out there.
We talk a lot about passion, and the passion at the local level is something that I think is unparalleled. Tell me a little bit about the passion that you have for it.
I love driving, but I love the mechanical part of it, trying to make the race cars go fast, the testing side of it, a lot more than just being out in the race. The whole process from working on the cars, the setups, it keeps my brain really working through the night when I should be sleeping probably. But, I look forward to waking up early and getting to work on the race cars when I have the opportunity, before I go to work or on the weekends, sometimes after work. I've always loved it, but I still find myself, it's not a job to wake up at 5 or 6 in the morning and jump out in the garage and get working on something. It's something I look forward to, and I still love it.
You just came off a forced march that initiated the Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Racing Series, the World Series of Stock Car Racing. I've always thought that it's kind of unique. 9 straight days of competition at a local short track. Now you transition to the regular weekly racing series there at New Smyrna. When you go up against the creme de la creme for 9 straight days, what does that do for you and for your ego?
It gives us an opportunity to do a lot of testing and a lot of trying different things that we don't really get to try during the whole season, because it's night after night, being able to really see what your changes do. Had a little rougher year this year than in the past couple years, but we started off getting a little banged up and had a couple issues, but came back strong. We started 19th, finished 2nd on the next to the last night, and then started 11th and finished 4th on the last night. And both nights had a real good race car. feel like we found a couple things that help the car out, and hopefully we can put that to use this season.
One of the beauties of weekly short track racing is it can run the gamut from Florida modifieds to super late models to wheel-in modified, tour type modifieds. What's the skill set that's necessary, Brad May, to wheel a late model?
You know, I've had experience in a lot of different cars. You know, it's when we get running, like during the World Series, I feel like you get a wide variety of drivers that come down. Some new drivers, some veterans, and guys that run a lot of different classes will come down and run a super late model. But, you know, I think to me, if you can really drive a Northern modified or even the Florida modifieds, or I think if you can drive any of those, you know, the super late models, if you can drive a race car, you can drive a race car to me. And you just got to adapt to the feel of the car, you know, a little different car than you might be used to. But the talent that comes down, you know, for speed weeks from all over the country is definitely the best we run against all year. So, you know, being able to be up against that and try to make the car be competitive to, you know, to the guys that come down that are the best is definitely a challenge.
I wonder, we talk all the time, the Cup level, the trucks, the Xfinity series. Did you ever entertain the dream to move on up into one of those top series?
Oh, I had the dream growing up for sure. I was able to run, you know, Hooters Pro Cup when I was at a real young age. I was 19 years old. I was Rookie of the Year, and was able to travel around the country. Definitely a dream to be able to do that. And you know, the opportunities and the sponsorship never really fell to where I was able to move up any higher than that. The expense of it was so great that unless I really had some big help, I knew I wasn't going to be able to move forward in that. But it has always been a dream to be able to run, you know, at a big, you know, Daytona or Bristol or Martinsville, you know, some of the tracks that I grew up watching. I'd love to be in anything on those tracks. Trucks, Cup, anything would be great. Late model, I'd be happy at those tracks too. So
shopping carts. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. So why, you say you ran out of money and that's why you didn't make it. Now at this point in time, pretty much that dream is out. So what do you want to accomplish over the course of the next 5 years wheeling your super late model?
You know what? I'm racing for Bobby Sears. He's 75 years old. He's been racing most of his whole life. He was a race car driver himself, and then he became a car owner in the early 2000s. He's really big on trying to run a bunch and run for points. You know, the Advanced Auto Parts Series is such an awesome opportunity for us to kind of show off, you know, during the year and be a good part of a series. That's definitely a focus. You know, I'd like to try to run up in Pensacola a little bit and, you know, run the super late model, maybe pro late model a little bit. But really, you know, just try to continue to learn on these cars and find ways to make them go faster.
So when you have a former driver as your current car owner, what does that do? It would seem to me that he immediately is going to understand what you mean rather than what you say.
He definitely does understand what I mean more than probably anybody I've ever raced for. It's been a really good connection. He's got so much experience and we've built such a good bond. He completely trusts if we kind of disagree on anything, but I feel like we should go one way, he's 100% behind me and he trusts that I'll make a right call if we need to make a right call on setups and he seems to really trust me in the race car also.
Is there any sort of car on your bucket list that you'd like to check off before you hang your helmet up?
Oh, not really. Like I say, I'm super happy with racing where I'm at. I love the super late models. I was able to run one of the Northern modifieds. That was probably 15 years ago or more. Was able to run a couple races in those during speed weeks, starting and parking, and then getting to run the whole 100 lapper at the end of the year. I think that was one of the cars that I always had wished that I was able to run a little more of. But I'm super happy where I'm at with the supers.
Well, we appreciate your coming on and sharing your passion for the Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Racing Series. And we wish you the best of luck now that Speed Week is over and you get back down to business and chase for that Advanced Auto Parts New Smyrna Speedway Championship.
We'll be hard at it. There's no really off time for us. The first race is in a month, and we have more than a month's worth of work to do between now and then. So we'll have it ready to go when it's time.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
Be sure to join us again next week for another trip to racing's grassroots with the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Victory Lap. Brought to you by the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series, advancing the next generation of drivers and champions. I'm Kyle Rickey from the Motor Racing Network.
Would you like to be part of these Wind Tunnel podcasts? Well, guess what? You can. Email us at jackarootswindtunnel@gmail.com, or better yet, call our hotline at 413-566-6206 and record your comments and questions. By the way, you can also post on our website, jackarootswindtunnel.com.
With Advance Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts in stock, and you can get them fast. Order online with Advance Same Day and get your part with same-day pickup in-store, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
Here's something new for you. How about a kid from Ohio winning a race in the IndyCar Series? It's going to happen today here on the streets of St. Petersburg. 19-year-old Graham Rahal, in his first IndyCar Series start, will win the Honda Grand Prix of St. Pete as the fist pumps in the air.
It is hard to believe that win was all the way back in 2008. It still stands out as a golden moment for the NTT IndyCar Series. As you heard, the second-generation IndyCar driver startled us all by winning in St. Pete in his very first start, driving for Newman Haas at the ripe old age of 19. Since then, Graham Rahal has established himself as one of the leading drivers in the NTT IndyCar Series as he enters his 8th season driving for his family in the Rahal Letterman Lanigan Honda. And Graham Rahal joins us right now inside the wind tunnel. Graham, welcome to the wind tunnel.
Thanks, Jackie. It's good to be with you.
Let's go back to that day in St. Pete, a raw rookie making your first start. What stands out so many years later to Graham Rahal about that day?
Well, I would say the biggest thing is just a special day for my family. For my dad, for myself, to be able to get a win. I mean, it's been 14 years now, but to be able to get that win was a great, I think, relief that you could win an IndyCar. But obviously it's been many years, and we hope to repeat that. We've had a couple of good chances over the last couple of years, and particularly last year, and just came up just short. So hopefully we'll be able to get the opportunity here to do it again in 2021.
Graham, where have you, in your mind, improved as an IndyCar driver?
Well, I feel like you grow up. You do. You just mature. You grow up. You recognize that these moments and the opportunities ahead of you are special. You recognize that you can't take it for granted. When you're young, you always think there's more life ahead of you. If this weekend doesn't work out, this race doesn't work out, oh, well, there's always next weekend. And as you get older, you recognize each opportunity is a special one, and you got to maximize every single one of those and take your craft even more seriously. And as I've gotten older too, it's also about your body, taking care of your body, taking care of your mind, making sure that, you're in good shape, because it does take a toll on you. I mean, I certainly do not feel anywhere near as good today as I did, at 21. So you have to adjust all of that because, I mean, Jack, my dad. You look at my dad today at 68 years old, and guys had back surgery, knee surgeries, hip surgeries, everything. And all of that is due to racing, the impacts of it. And so it certainly takes a toll on you, and you gotta be ready for that.
Yeah, you mentioned your dad. He certainly established himself as one of the true stars of IndyCar racing when he and the late Jim Truman were burning up the racetracks. So I wonder, how did you get bitten by the bug?
Just always was there. It was just always was there. There was nothing else in my eyes other than, trying to go race IndyCars. And I say bitten by the bug too in racing. It's, for me, IndyCar racing was really it. yes, there are other forms of motorsport that are appealing, but the main thing for me was just the love of Indy cars. And so, from the time I was a little kid, it was all I really wanted to do. I mean, it's just the truth. It was my focus and, and my love, and, lucky it all kind of worked out.
Did your dad buy into your dream right away, or did you have to do a little lobbying?
Oh, there was always lobbying. I mean, yeah, he did not. He was not a fan of the dream. He was, my dad's he's the type of guy that, he really wanted, he understood very clearly the pressures that were associated with it. He understood the difficulty that would come along with it from time to time. And I don't think that he really wanted, his kids, any of us, to go through that. Now, having said that, once he realized that this was going to happen, I think he quickly realized, okay, now it's my job to, make sure that he's got the right tools that are needed to be successful. And so it took a lot of lobbying for sure. It took some negotiating with my brother Jared, against Dad to make it happen. But, ultimately it was a lot of fun. And much like it was then, it is today for us and for our family, which is it's a family sport. And it was a great opportunity for us as a family to go and do things together and be together and enjoy the race weekends together. And, still it's where the Rahals probably most commonly all come together, is at a race weekend. And so that was that was a special part of it then and is now.
You've established, along with Takuma Sato, I think probably your position as one of the true leading teams in the world of the NTT IndyCar Series, with Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan Racing. What can we expect in 2021?
Well, it's hard to beat a 1-3 finish at the Indy 500, although I would have liked to be 1, not 3. But, I feel like our team is still on the verge of great things. I don't know that we're, I feel like we're still in a development stage. We've got some new people coming in, and we haven't had much turnover as far as, mechanics or anything like that, but you're still learning. And, things in the off season, little things change here or there, but I feel like our team is poised for a great year. When you look at the effort that goes in, and as I said, the camaraderie within the team, we really don't have much turnover. Takuma's got a new engineer, Matt Greasley. Eddie Jones, who was his engineer, has retired and moved back home to Ireland. And so, a little change there, but from the rest of the standpoint, everybody's pretty much the same. So I feel like, we're poised to have a great year.
The more I listen to you, the more I watch the way you approach your craft, the more I think you're the doppelganger of your dad. You seem to have the same semi-cerebral approach to things and never really get off the even keel. Am I onto something?
Well, I hope that you're right. I mean, I think we're both fiery people when we need to be. But I think in general too, we're both, you've got to be pretty even keeled about it. And, you've got to be a leader within your organization, and that's really critical. You got to build the team around you. You've got to get the guys excited. You got to get the guys focused. I think we both have, similar mindsets when it comes to that. But, I would say that we're very similar. He's just had a lot more success. So I got to find a way to change that. When I look at it, though, I'm 32. He didn't start his IndyCar career until he was 29. So we can have a lot of success over the next 8 to 10 years if that's what my career allows me to go for, that sort of duration. But we are very similar personalities. There's no doubt about that.
Spectators that are fans of the NTT IndyCar Series, I often feel, do not appreciate the passion that is required to do this for 14 to 20 races each year. How passionate is it for you and your immediate family?
I mean, it takes a lot of work because it's not just the races. And so the whole family, my wife, now with our baby, we got my mom, my dad, everybody, all my siblings. It takes a toll on everybody because, you are gone a lot. And there's also just a lot of support that you need. There's a lot of dedication, and that's wearing. It's wearing. You always feel like the prima donna when you're asking everybody else to put themselves aside and focus on you. But that's really kind of what you need to be best. You look at the athletes who perform the best in their sports, and that's what their family does, is they allow themselves during their careers to, put themselves first and be successful. That's tough though. In the end of the day, it's tough on everybody year in, year out. And I've been doing this, like I said, 14 years now. It does take a toll on everybody kind of mentally, but we get excited. I mean, we get excited to go to the races. We get excited to be a part of it. We get excited, when you do well. And those are the things that keep fueling you, that fire, the competitiveness within you. That's what keeps this whole thing going. It's a challenge. I mean, it's 24/7 stress for a guy like my dad, trying to find the sponsorship necessary to keep the business going, trying to find the sponsorship necessary to keep every employee that we have not only employed, but get them their raises when due time comes, and get build a new facility and do all the things to be able to do it right. I could tell you, he may have been bald before, but he's gotten even worse because of all of it. So the stress is a very, very high.
You mentioned your new family and the baby that's in the Rahal house these days. So I'm just inquiring. Do you take care of the 2:00 feedings? Are you part of, the 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. shift with a new baby?
I'm a part of it, but Court definitely has the heavy lifting. I'm a small part of the whole deal. But I do get up and I do change her, and I do get her, get her going, for sure. I think it's important to play that sort of role. And so I've been trying, but obviously Courtney and I actually talked about it the other day. The one thing I cannot do is, not really, frankly, is feed at this point. So, that's something that she's got to take the heavy lifting there, but I try to help. I think it's important that you do, and you try to play your part, because everybody knows this, but it's wearing. There's a lot of wear and tear that goes on with this deal. So
yeah,
it's important to be a part of it.
Someone like you that lives in the fast lane, I wonder, do you race, Court, to see who can diaper your daughter faster?
No, but it is, it is like a pit stop. You got to figure out the quickest way to change. But the thing that I found is it's also very critical that you do it right. So sometimes you got to slow the pace down and just get the job done appropriately.
Hey, listen, it's been a real pleasure, and we wish you and your dad and the entire team at Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan Racing, when we finally get underway, nothing but success. And personally, between you and me as a friend, finally you being able to lift high that victory wreath in the greatest spectacle of racing, the Indianapolis 500. So far been elusive, but you've been close. And as you said,
close.
Yeah, as you said earlier, you would have preferred to have it switched when Takuma Sato went to Victory Lane. I think that's on the horizon for you, but maybe it's just because I've been such a fan.
I appreciate that, Jack. And I look back, man, I was looking at an old photo of you, myself, my dad, and my brother at the Michigan State game, I think in 96 or something, Ohio State, Michigan State. And so, we've known each other a long time. And, I certainly hope that we can get it done. It would be, selfishly, I want to do it for myself, but I would say even more important, I'd really like to do it for my family and for my dad in particular. I know the joy that he would experience in that moment. And so hopefully it all happened for us.
Graham, it's been a real treat, and I appreciate your visiting us in the wind tunnel.
Thank you, Jack. Thanks for having me.
Coming up next.
No pressure at all. Well, he has risen well above the pressure as he comes out of turn number 4 to claim his first ever Cup Series championship. It's Joey Logano who wins.
With Advance Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts in stock, and you can get them fast. Order online with Advance Same Day and get your part with same-day pickup in-store, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
No spin, no bull, all Jack. The Wind Tunnel with Jack Root.
He once was called sliced bread because he was so highly touted when he started his NASCAR career. But since then, he has won the Daytona 500 and a NASCAR Cup title. I'm talking about Team Penske's driver of the Shell Oil Mustang, Joey Logano. Hey, Joey, welcome.
That's what's happening. You guys doing all right? You doing good?
We're doing well. Hope you are. So much we learned during COVID-19 that has created change. How do you approach the change that now you have to deal with as a driver?
Well, you have to adjust for sure. And anytime there's a change or a rules change of any sort, it presents an opportunity to figure it out before really anybody else, right? That's the goal. And so, that is kind of what was presented last year is how do we prepare and get ready to race without practice, without really being able to see your team much at all. How do you prepare doing this all through Zoom calls? This is not my cup of tea. It's not my favorite thing to do at all. I want to be in person. I want to work on the car. I want to, be there and tinker on it while, throughout practice and try to find that little bit of speed, especially when you're working with the new crew chief, as we did last year. So, I felt like we came out of the gates really strong when we had practice. And then as soon as the pandemic hit and we came back without practice, we went through quite the slump throughout, the summer months. And it took a little bit to figure out what I needed in my race car and how to communicate that through Paul, because everything we were learning was after the race, or during the race, and we couldn't change it. So the second time by, as we came to some of these racetracks, the second time we were more successful. I was able to find more speed. And then we look to kind of build upon that this year once again. So I feel a lot more prepared this year, even though the rules are still pretty much the same. There's not going to be many practice sessions at all. I feel like we have a closer starting point.
I must admit I had a little chuckle when I listened to you recently on Behind the Wheel on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio with the bag man. You mentioned the fact that you obsess over my helmet bag. Do I have everything? It's like a recurring nightmare. What you're going to go to the racetrack. They're going to tell you to get in the car and you're going to unzip the bag and what?
Yeah, well, we've all been there, right? I feel like probably every race car driver has gotten to the racetrack and said, "Oh no, I forgot my earplugs," or there's something small. It's usually something small, and then you go into straight up panic mode trying to find something. And so I've lived that nightmare before, to the point that you have like actual nightmares at home while you're sleeping about this stuff. So, and I know it's so small, so petty, but those things, I don't know. It's just something that you're not used to really doing. It's usually always there for you. So, the game's changed a little bit.
Age and experience, Joey, bring a different approach to things. As I said when we brought you into the wind tunnel, you came on board with Joe Gibbs Racing, and you were sliced bread. I mean, you were the next best thing, and you hadn't even attained the age of majority yet, and there was an awful lot of pressure. How much has Joey Logano changed since that period of time when you were the new kid on the block to the point that now you're a champion?
Oh, I mean, doesn't everyone change from when they're 18 to 30? You know what I mean? It's you probably change more in those years than you do the rest of your life, most likely. Because you're learning on, who you are and what makes you tick and how to be successful, and you're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. Mistakes are great. As long as you learn from them, they're great. I feel bad for people that are too scared to go out there and take a risk and make a mistake. You'll never learn. You have to go out there and take those chances. And I took plenty of them. I screwed up plenty of them too in front of a lot of people. But I don't have any regrets about that, because I've learned from each mistake I made. And because of that, I feel like I've become a pretty good race car driver, and and know what I want and know what I need to do on the racetrack and know what I need in a race team. And that's because I started at a young age, and I was okay with screwing up. Like it was not fun, and it hurt obviously when you don't win, and when you're getting judged by everyone outside, and you end up having some pretty thick skin. I'll be honest with you, I cared a lot about what people thought before. Now I don't care. You know what I mean? I'm going to drive my race car. I'm going to have fun doing it. Love me or hate me. I don't care. I mean, I hope you like me more than you hate me. I mean, obviously, but if you don't, it's not going to break my heart. You know, I'm out there for a job. I'm out there to, you know, support my race team, you know, my sponsors, my fans, my family, right? That's what this is about. So, you know, I'm going to go out there and be who I am. And that's what's been, you know, successful and taken a long time to get to.
You know, you hit a touchstone with me when you said you go out there and you want to have fun. From your perspective, how important is it that every day you have fun, whether it's in the car or at home or, you know, distributing PPE with the Joey Logano Foundation?
Fun is important, but I think appreciating the moment means more. Because every day is not fun. Let's be honest. It's work. It's a job. And not every day is going to go exactly how you planned it. We lose way more races than we win. Even in the greatest year you have, you can win 10 races. You're still going to lose more than you won. You know, so it's just something that you kind of learn to live with. The competitive vibe in you, you know, you do it to win, not really to have fun at this level anymore. If I want to have fun, I'll go to a go-kart track with my friends, right? I mean, that's not what this is about anymore. It's about winning, like I said. But with that being said, you need to understand the situation that you're in and appreciate it, right? Because even on the worst day of driving a race car, I still drive a race car for a living. Like, I have to tell myself that this is an awesome job, no matter what. And yeah, there's pressure that comes along with it. Obviously, a lot of fingers always point to the driver, but you signed up for that pressure, right? That's what you wanted. You have to live with that and be excited about it and love it, because there's thousands of people that would love to be in my position. And I want every driver to know that, right? Like, I mean, out there, like, there's plenty of times you see grumpy race car drivers. I'm like, why are you grumpy? Like, this is still the greatest job ever. Everyone would love to be in this position. So it's just, you know, it's the attitude that I've taken, you know, over the years. And because of that, you see me with a smile on my face because I appreciate the moment and I do have fun with it and I enjoy it, but I'm there to win more than anything.
Joey, you've watched as some of your peers, I'm thinking of like Jimmy Johnson, deciding to hang it up on a regular basis, but being more busy than he's ever been before, competing in the Rolex 24, and then ahead, teaming up with Scott Dixon in the NTT IndyCar Series. What's on Joey Logano's future bucket list?
I'd say I don't know what comes around the corner next for me sometimes. I'm the go with the flow guy. So, you know, if you told me I would be where I am right now and doing some of the things I'm doing 5 years ago, I would say, nah, I wouldn't get into that. I wouldn't want to do that. You know, whether it's on the racetrack and racing or stuff I do away from the racetrack. You know, I just kind of go with it. As the opportunity comes ahead of me, I always say yes. I always take it because I don't know where it's going to go. You know, some of them go to dead ends and you say, oh, well, but you learned something, right? Going back to that piece about making mistakes. If you say no to everything, you're never going to learn. So usually I keep my plate a little fuller than it should be. But I'm going to take advantage of the opportunity that comes my way. I'm still young and things can go 10 different ways from here. So I don't know, right? I can't look at, you know, say Jimmy Johnson's doing all these really fun things and he should. He deserves it. And he has nothing to prove. He's a 7-time champion. He can go out there and do whatever he wants. He's still a 7-time champion and you know, the highest form of motorsports in America. It's awesome. No matter what he does from here, he's going to, you know, always be known as that. So, you know, good for him to have some fun. What am I going to do in 15 years from now or whatever it is when I retire? Who knows? Who knows what I'm going to be into, what I want to do, what my kids are into. You know, that'll decide all that.
You mentioned that you never say no. I think there is maybe way back in your history when you literally never said no to any offers. Man versus food is not on your bucket list.
Joey Logano is ready to begin his race toward eternal food glory. 3, 2, 1, go! Mash it down and cut. He tears into the burger at a ferocious pace.
Tastes great.
The faster he gets it all down, the better. I believe in him. The guy drives 100 miles an hour. Who knows how fast he can eat? Man versus food! Man versus food!
Will Joey's need for speed carry him to victory lane? Or will this ticking time bomb have him beat?
Doesn't even look like it took a bite yet.
I regret. That's one I regret, but I did learn not to do that again. So
good choice.
I'm not into eating in front of a bunch of people. That's really weird. So I did that, and yeah, it's something I did.
Joey, you and your bride have given back so much, millions upon millions of dollars through the Joey Logano Foundation. But forget the cash for just a moment. What you have given is inspiration to many people, that especially accentuated by this COVID-19 pandemic, that a belief that there is light at the end of the tunnel. How rewarding has that been for you?
I mean, there's yes, like you said, there's two pieces to the foundation. One is to impact and give, a lot of people a second chance in life, right? And a lot of kids that have been put in the system, that need good role models, things like that. And we can help kind of connect the dots between, people that want to help and organizations that really know what they're doing. And we can kind of connect all that and really shine a light on what they're doing. The other pieces of our mission, that's right in it, is to encourage people to live a life of generosity. And that's a pretty deep thing when you think about it, to put that ahead of anything. And that's not, I'm not talking financially. Yes, that's one piece of it, but just being generous with your time, with your attitude, with your emotions, thinking of others first. That's an attitude, and that's hard to do. And I always bring this up. Think about when in the morning, I don't drink coffee, but I go with my wife sometimes to the drive-through, and when that lady gives her a coffee, if she's in a bad mood, boy, it's a contagious mood, right? Like if she's happy, boy, the whole day is great. Everything's good to go, So living that, with the right attitude, to me was so much, and a big piece of this foundation to try to help with, because I have this amazing platform. NASCAR has given me this great platform to speak to a ton of people, right? We are right now, and to help inspire someone on a bad day is awesome. And I think of it, sometimes I just shake someone's hand, and I don't even want to shake hands anymore. We pound the potato, whatever you call it. So now that is but just doing, smiling at somebody is sometimes the easiest and greatest thing someone needs in a day.
Well, you and your bride are to be commended, but as they say, you pay it forward. My dad once told me you get what you give, and you give a lot, Joey Logano. Thanks so much for joining us today on the Wind Tunnel.
Thank you. I had fun. See you soon.
Hey, don't go away. Mailbag is coming up right here on Jackaroot's Wind Tunnel.
With Advance Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts in stock, and you can get them fast. Order online with Advance Same Day and get your part with same-day pickup in-store, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
Hi, I'm Mike Bagley.
And I'm Pete Pistone from the Morning Drive on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
You're listening to Jackaroot's Wind Tunnel. Man, I bet there's some hot air going through that tunnel.
Anybody knows about wind, it's Jackaroot.
Leave it to the boys of the Morning Drive to provide me with a bazinga. Hey, be sure to tune in to Sirius XM's NASCAR Channel 90 each weekday, and you can hear more from that crazy combo.
Eddie! Mail call!
Time to see what you got!
Handling our mail call is social media influencer Jason Stacks. Okay, Jason, what have you got for me this week?
Well, Jack, we don't have any questions in this week's mail call. Just some people who are enjoying the podcasts. Todd Keys writes, "Hi, Jack. Thanks for the ad. Always enjoyed your work on the NASCAR broadcasts, but very much miss hearing you talk about college football. Take care." Thad Tinney writes, "Really digging your podcast. It's a great program." And Todd Hutchins says, "Your podcasts sound terrific. Let's go racing." That's all I have this week, Jack. A quick reminder that you can be a part of Mail Call by calling the Wind Tunnel hotline at 413-566-6206, emailing us at jackarootswindtunnel@gmail.com, or posting your question on the website jackarootswindtunnel.com.
Thanks, Jason. Hey, be sure to check out Jason on TikTok at Jason Stacks and on his Instagram account, I am Jason Stacks. That's it for Mail Call. Well, that puts a bow on this week's episode. My thanks to Joey Logano, Graham Rahal, and Brad May for visiting. And of course, my thanks to all of you for simply listening. I want to end the show the way I started it. Please keep my friend Bob Jenkins in your prayers as he fights the biggest battle of his life. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next week inside the wind tunnel.
My first year of anchoring the ABC telecast of the Indy 500 was 1999, and it was a dream come true. Being a part of the team was a goal that went back to my childhood in a little town in eastern Indiana. I remember watching the race with Jim McKay, Jackie Stewart, and others, but little did I think I would someday have the opportunity to follow in their footsteps.
Today's trip to the wind tunnel was brought to you by
Advance Auto Parts, the official auto parts retailer of NASCAR.